What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Smoot. Coach Jay, where your camera at, man? We here tonight live on the coaches, Monday night with the coaches. You got your boy, Coach Smoot, joined with Coach Jay, Coach Sean. Y'all know it's that time of the year. Y'all know he got the family thing going, got his daughter cheering tonight. They basketball team doing their thing. He's there in support of his daughter and the team. So big shouts out to Coach Sean. Definitely going to miss him tonight. Roll Tide to everybody in the chat. Coach Jay, how you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling sweet, feeling a lot better than what I did on after the game against Georgia because I didn't even know we were going to get to this point. But man, complete overall weekend, and man, I can't wait to get into the show. Shout out to you guys again, once again, for stopping by, man, showing us a lot of support.
Man, for real, man, for real. And just as everybody comes in, don't forget to drop your likes, drop your subscriptions if you haven't subscribed already to the channel. And if you're over there watching the premiere, hop on over here. That premiere gonna be there afterwards. Come get this live reactions to this post game, man. We have, man, so much has happened since we won the SEC championship, man. So much has happened in the past 48 hours, and we're gonna dive into it, man. Starting off early with just the final reactions to what I was just talking about, the SEC championship, Alabama once again the SEC champs. And the thing is, yes, we have a blemish on our record, but not from anybody in our conference. We was able to run a clean sweep in our conference, and I think a lot of fans for forgetting that's what we just did. We literally just did another 2020. We went undefeated in our conference. We played a clean conference schedule. That it was only maybe one or two games that were decided by one score or less. And I want to say Texas A&M was the first one, and then Georgia in the SEC championship. I don't think anybody else played as close. We're going to dive back in it, but
Arkansas,
Arkansas 24-21 or whatever it was. But I mean, just man, the way we finished to do, and we all, I know you went back and watched the film and took your notes and everything, but to finish the season like we did, man, it's just an amazing feat. Just give your initial take on just the finish, and then we're gonna dive through every game of the season, y'all, as I pull it up. Coach Jay, take it away, man. Just give like your finish feel for this season, bro.
Man, it was a hell of a season. This. I will say this about Nick Saban. This is the best coach job I've ever seen Nick Saban do, and I've seen countless national championships. I think we've all seen it, but to see what he did with this roster and this coaching staff was just absolutely incredible. Because really, besides Kevin Steele, this coaching staff doesn't really have a lot of 10 plus years of experience of coaching at the highest level. You look at a guy like Tommy Rees, third year as an offensive coordinator, and he got a crap ton of criticism by the Notre Dame fans. You look at the players. So many young guys that we had to play. A lot of young guys we had to play. The offensive line had to be a little revamped. We had to put a true freshman out there in left tackle that was struggling. This offensive line was struggling for pretty much the first half of the season. Was just one of the worst offensive lines literally in the country. They were in the bottom half. They were in the bottom half of college football when it comes to just giving up pressures, almost every single statistical measurement. And to see this team just turn around with the amount of young guys that we have on the field. Just to see this team go through adversity, the resiliency, Jalen Miro, being benched in the South Florida game and then coming back and then just becoming a lot stronger and just becoming just a much better quarterback and much better leader. It's a hell of a story, man. It's a hell of a story. And if we end up finishing this thing off and winning a national championship, I'm not saying that this is the greatest year ever, but this has to be a ESPN 30 for 30. You got to put this as a 30 for 30, man, because I mean, like I said, from a talent standpoint, it's the best team Alabama's had from a talent standpoint. But, like I said, that sometimes that doesn't always translate on the football field. Sometimes that doesn't always translate to wins. And to see what this team has just gone through the entirety of the season, it is Nick Saban and this coaching staff, what they've done with these players it's absolutely phenomenal, man. I can't wait to see what else they can do, because it's awesome to see how they were how they were. I mean, we were talking about how this team was potentially going to lose 3 to 4 games. I mean, that's what a lot of people were saying. I said, this is my preseason prediction, but I had this team losing 2 games. I had them losing to Georgia in the SEC championship game, and they have just continued to just exceed even my expectations, everyone's expectations. And man, it's just you can't wait to see what this team does, because they just continue to just prove people wrong. And like I said, they proved a lot of us wrong. They proved me wrong. And man, just proud of this team for what they've accomplished.
Facts, man. Facts. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Keith Holcomb in the chat. Roll Tide. Brent Shepard in the chat. Roll Tide, fam. Bob Rutherford. Dominic Whaley. Marcus McCants. Katrina's in the chat. My boy Gavin Kane coming through with the super chat already. He said, my boys, Link, Texas rematch to get back a whoo. And you already know. My boy Javian Smith, man, been real active with me on Twitter. Welcome in, brother. You a member of the channel, Roll Tide. James Richards, hey, pulling back up after the defeat. Hey, much respect,
James,
my brother.
Shout out James.
Shout out to you, bro. You definitely need to reach out, man. We got to pull you in, get you on the phone with Kyle or something, man. I feel like you'll give us a good perspective and good take on how you felt on the losing side of this crazy good game, man. Eric D, he said the season ain't over. The regular season is over, man. We in the postseason now. We're talking. We're gonna enjoy. We're gonna really take it in. We got time to sit back and take this in. The 24-hour rule is different during this time. I think it goes to about 72. You guys get a chance to take a deep breath and refocus right now. And as a fan base, I think we should too. So me and Coach Jay, we're gonna take y'all on a ride to help y'all remember what we've been through. You know, George Johnson, Roll Tide. Diane Clay, Roll Tide, came. She said, this is the best show. You guys need to be on SEC Network. And the young lady that does Crimson Dynasty, be best. Hey, you know what? It's crazy because we've been talking about trying to get Cici over here to do a session with us, man. And I think she's way more inclined, man. She's definitely growing her platform. Her status is growing in the Alabama fan base. So definitely y'all keep on, y'all keep on yelling and she gonna hear it. And I think we can get something done. And then Gavin Kane said, also UGA gonna have FSU thanking committee. Man, look, UGA, I don't know if this is gonna be another one of them years where they sit a lot of guys, just because of Kirby's, guidance. But I think they're gonna come into that game wanting to prove something, man. That loss they took, that was a tough loss. My guy Chance Green coming in with the Roll Tide, man, pulling up. Everybody in the chat, man, we got 242 in the chat. Make sure we run the likes up. Man, my final reaction to not just the win over Georgia, but just this season, just the initial reaction. Like I said, we're going to take time and take every game and take 3 minutes and dive into every game that we've had to play up until this point. But for my final reaction, man, everything that I saw happening when I saw the loss at Texas, when I saw what the coaching staff was doing during the USF game, when I saw the attitude of players on the sideline consistently you just saw a level of togetherness that we haven't seen in that Alabama locker room in years, man. And it was all nice and giddy the last 2 years with Bryce and Will being the nice guys, leading by example, clean collar guys. But this year, I feel like we had just enough of the bad apples or quote unquote roughnecks, being Jermaine Burton, Kendrick Blackshire. I mean, you got guys like Tim Keenan mixing it up on the defensive side. Jihad Campbell coming in as a young guy and making his presence felt, the silent killer. I mean, Dylan Moses being vocal, Terrion Arnold being, emotional on the field, Caleb Downs coming in and just getting to work. I mean, you could just continue to name guys. Caden Proctor being a young leader, a young steady force, a young steady light of improvement. I mean, just having that will. Jaden Roberts coming in, being a vocal and a leader in the physicality departments, resetting that mentality of being physical in the trenches. And he was definitely a spearhead in that movement. I mean, Booker and Latham, we knew what they could do, but to have a guy like Roberts jump in and replace Dalcourt and sure up that right guard position, we saw the line totally shift into what they had become. And they really played a solid game against Georgia, man. And to be where we are right now, number 4 in the college football playoff, when everybody counted us out. We had so much logic behind this. We had the discussions on this show, on the coaches show on Wednesday, talking about how the logic would be with this committee. And I told y'all, man, if we beat number 1, they can't keep us out. And it's sad to say, but at the same time, it's been a consistent thing in college football since money, TV broadcasting, all that stuff got tied into it. Sponsors from big name franchises and companies. You think not Tostitos, but you think what's the bowl we're going to? We're going to the Rose Bowl. Who's the sponsor for the Rose Bowl? You think they want to see FSU go in and get beat by another team, or you think they want to see another team come in and choke? No. This is the last year of this format. They are going to bank on what they need. They're going to try to cash in the check. And guess what? Alabama cashes check. Texas cashes checks. Michigan cashes checks. And you know, Washington, you know, they're the one off. But you think about it, not only are we talking about cash and checks, but who is Florida State really beating in front of them? You know, so when it comes to this Crimson Tide, we've proven that we are one of the top 4 teams. I don't care if even if Georgia had beat us, I don't think Florida State gets in because we were at number 4. They moved Texas up 4 spots. That would have put them at 4 with your other 3 undefeateds that's already in your other teams that's in front of us. So, I mean, it still would have been a bad case for Florida State in my opinion. But at the end of the day, this Crimson Tide team has really, really proven a lot of the naysayers. They let all the naysayers know that Coach Saban isn't done and they aren't done. Let's jump in it, Coach Jay. Let's start with the Middle Tennessee game. Let me try to get it if I get the screen share up to look good, man. We don't want it to look raggedy up here. Let me see. I think I could do it like this. And then y'all bear with me for a second, chat. I'm gonna share this screen right here. Boom. There we go. Now we looking. How we looking, chat? Tell me how we looking. Yo, this season, Jay. Let's just talk about it, man. This season in itself has just been a season of emotions. You talking about starting at the Middle Tennessee State game, man? Like we come out, everybody's hype. Jalen Milroe, you remember the big play he made? First snap, a fumble snap. We didn't know that it was going to be a recurring thing throughout the season or a thing that they actually implemented in the offense with the snapping and learning how to do whatever. But we saw some early signs. We saw some things. A lot of people were like, okay, we might be able to do it. Majority of the fan base still doubting Milroe after he, you know, put up some solid numbers against what he should have did against Middle Tennessee State, right? Your reaction to this, your feel coming out of that Middle Tennessee State game, man?
Man, I mean, it felt like we had, you know, a potential star in Jalen Milroe. It felt like it. You know, offensively, we dealt with some trouble because I think we gave up. You can just check this out. I think we gave up 4 or 5 sacks to Middle Tennessee. The offensive line wasn't particularly, they weren't particularly bad, but we did give up some pressures. You started to kind of see Caden Proctor's promise, but you know that was the first game where you really started to see that. Yeah, he has a lot of work to do with his technique and just overall his overall quickness. And that was kind of one of the, because again, that was the year where, a lot of people were saying, or including a lot of the Bama players were saying, we're going back to bully ball, right? It was the bully ball campaign. And it just didn't look like it against Middle Tennessee. Just didn't look like it to me. So, again, we didn't show too much, but we had promise. And I think the best thing about it was Jalen Milroe. And I think the defense, how quick they were, how fast they were, because the last 3 years was just absolutely it just was something was off about the defense. Well, we know the answer, but we're not going to talk about that name. He's done now. But this was the first game for Kevin Steele to kind of showcase why Alabama football could get back to, where we used to try to be. And that's exactly what we were. We were extremely aggressive. Defensive line played a lot better, a lot stronger in the interior, a lot more confidence. The secondary looked a lot more confident. We started to play a little more aggressive. Caleb Downs had a pretty good game for his first game, so that was kind of the start of everything. But, overall wise, that game, 50, again, you look at the score, it's exactly what you should do. But the problem was that even last year we had issues of beating teams this big against the smaller schools. Like we did that with Bryce Young. So, it showcased a lot. It showcased a little bit of what we could potentially see. But, obviously going through the rest of the season, we didn't really get what we were kind of promised to. We had to work for it and try to grow and slow downs. And we had to kind of tempt our expectations down a little bit in order for us to try to get right back into the groove.
Right. And that's what I was going to say, man. I didn't really want to stick on this game too much. I want to jump to the season where, like, literally week 2, national media wrote us off, man. Week 2, we lost a tough game by 10 after 14 points were taken off the board. Played a tough Texas team, an experienced Texas team, a talented Texas team, a Texas team that's currently in the playoffs. So losing to them early just proves that they weren't a fluke, man. That wasn't a fluke game. We just got outplayed with a young team. Our team being so young, man. I dive into the stats, man. I mean, first thing that was crazy about that game, look at the third down efficiency, something that we lead in right now in the country. third down efficiency, we were less than 50%. Yes, we held Texas to less than 50% on third down efficiency, but the third downs that they did convert were actually big third. They scored on 2 third down plays. So you think about it, that's what really gave them the game, being able to convert on them 2 third downs to give them the score. Their fourth down efficiency, and then where was it? This game, the sacks and the penalties what killed us. We had 10 penalties for 90 yards. I don't think we saw anything close to that the rest of the season. So that's and the interceptions, the turnover battle, we lost that one. I don't think we lost the turnover battle again the rest of the year. I think A&M was the only one we lost the turnover battle in, but it really didn't hurt us. And we're going to continue to dive into it. But this game right here is when I went to Facebook and I said, I think my first take was, everybody's going to write Alabama off, but it's better to lose early than to lose late. It's better to lose out of conference than to lose in conference, because that's what it's all going to get down to. How well can you handle your conference? But to lose this game the way we did with the young Caleb Downs at free safety, you got a young Caden Proctor out there going against possibly 2 first-round draft picks when they decide to go. They were rotating in on him, at the end spot, at the tackle spot. I mean, you got a linebacker and forward that they really keyed him once they figured, that he was a step behind what you expect with a true freshman. So for them to come out of this game with the loss, it was a tough one to take, but I saw the upside and I stuck with it. A lot of you that follow me on Twitter, y'all been seeing, man, I've been posting receipts all week. So continue to check that out. Let's move on, man. We're not going to stay on this subject too long. It's just some games on here that I want to highlight, man. Like I said, they really wrote us off after the USF game. After the Texas game. And then we get in the USF game. My
South
God.
Florida game too. Yeah, they definitely wrote us off of that because we went from 2 to 6 and then 6 to 8, and we stayed there for the entirety of the season until Saturday.
No, actually, we went from 2 to 10. I think that was
10. Yeah. No. It was 2 to 6 and then 6 to 10 or 11. No, 11.
It was 3. It was 3 to 10. Then we went to 11 and then 8.
Got it.
I think we went to 11 after USF game. Let me look at this right now. See, we were 10 against USF.
Yeah.
And then we came out of that, we went in there with the Buckner experience. Congrats to Tyler Buckner for entering the transfer portal. I did want to give him a shout out entering the transfer portal. My boy is going to pursue that lacrosse, right? Men's lacrosse. Yeah, shout out to Tyler Buckner, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. Hey, go be great. A 5-star lacrosse player. That's my boy, man. I appreciate you, man. Doing what's best for you. I feel you. Hey, but yeah, see, we was all the way down to 13, Jay, coming into Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We was down to 13. Jesus Christ. Came into Ole Miss and had a business.
SEC bias or Alabama favoritism. We'll get to that later.
With one loss against the ranked team, they kept dropping us. No matter how we won, they kept dropping us. And then after we beat Ole Miss, I think the nation kind of was kind of like, okay, maybe. Came in against an unranked Mississippi State, handled business. I think they put us at 11 this week was the week. Oh, see, I keep forgetting, bro, how many weeks went by where we just were being disrespected. Because I think I was so locked in on what was happening on the field as far as development. Players,
they did not want to move us at all, man. They didn't want to move us. They wanted to keep us even out of the top 8. It was Alabama favoritism, though. Alabama favoritism. And
the people, fans outside of the base, outside of the SEC are going to continue to say that. If it wasn't Bama, if it was Georgia, they'll be saying, SEC bias. But because it's Bama, they're going to put Bama on it. But you see, we didn't get the 11th rank till after we beat unranked Mississippi State. We had to maul them to get that rank. Then we come in a Texas A&M team who was getting all this hype coming into the game. If they had beat us, which at that point they were 4-1. If they had beat us, they were 4-2. If they had beat us, I guarantee you A&M would have had some 18, 15 rank, being a number 11 team unranked. It's like when Bama handles business, we don't get the love. But when people come in and upset us, they about to jump 12 spots. So and just going to Arkansas, this the one that had us frustrated. This the one where we was like, oh no, man. Maybe this is another experiment year. This was probably Caden Proctor's worst game, in my opinion, all season. God, it wasn't even the Texas game. It was this one. Landon Jackson.
Looked like Mario Williams. It was insane, man.
Jesus Christ. And y'all, we just doing fan reaction right now. Y'all not getting the coaches right now. We just remembering, just like y'all, just take this journey with us, because it was a journey, y'all. We came out of this at home against Arkansas, played probably one of the worst second halves of offense we've seen from the team all year, including the Texas game. You know, this team, we should have put up like 40 points in the first half alone and should have been able to just hold off and put 14 up in the second half and had a nice game. But this game was uncharacteristic. Y'all know Arkansas came in. They were healthier when they came and saw us, and they brought their A game. This is the one I want Coach Jay to talk about. This is when I think he started kind of like, oh my God, the Tennessee game, this team could be dangerous. I think that's the one where you came on, you was like, guys, if we can just fix the small stuff. I think that was the Tennessee game. To come from 21 to 7 and to come back and win like we did in the second half, to shut out that offense, the way they were able to move the ball the first couple drives, man. I mean, what made you start feeling it around that Tennessee game, Coach Jay?
Yeah, I mean, when the offensive line pretty much shut Tennessee out in the second half. I mean, that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, if this offensive line can play like that in the second half, almost for every game, we're getting in. Because this is every game. This is, we got, remember when me and you, we got criticized by a lot of fans for saying that Kevin Steele's a top defensive coordinator and that the plays are right, and that Ty Maurice, the plays are there. Our quarterback just has to execute because they're there. Receivers are getting open. The concepts aren't the problem. The problem is that and maybe it's the offense delivered around Milroe, but for the most part, if he can just see it, I'm telling you, these we're gonna make big plays happen. But people don't want to listen to us. It is what it is. But no, this was the game where I think everything started to kind of click. That second half was insane. It was an insane second half. Defensively, when the offense shows up, that you saw what the defense did. The defense shut them out, didn't even allow a point. Why? Because we controlled field position, we controlled the clock. Defense didn't get tired, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to see. So no, this was the game where I'm like, okay, you know what? If we can just play like that in the second half every game, we're gonna make it inside the college football playoff, and we can beat Georgia. It wasn't perfect. We had still up and down performances, but yeah, I mean, that was the start for sure.
Facts, man. And I think we got a troll in the chat. We'll give you some time at the end. Just stick around. This guy Doc Bunks. Make sure I can start one of his comments so I can remember. Yeah, I mean, he's mad. Are you a Georgia fan, Doc, or a Florida State fan? I've been waiting for somebody to show up. I just want to console you all.
You might be a Michigan fan. You know how Michigan fans are.
Michigan fans, they hiding right now, man.
Is there a spy in this chat?
Somebody spying in our chat. We don't need to reveal too much about Michigan just yet. We got to start screening, start putting a questionnaire up before people log into the chat. How long you been a Bama fan? Name a player off the 2001 roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need to start doing. But but yeah, coming out of that game, going into the LSU game, LSU was beat up defensively, but they were still out here putting up points on everybody, averaging 40+ points a game. The number one offense in the nation. Now we know that Jaden Daniels is probably the front runner for the Heisman. Clear cut front runner. To do what he did in the SEC, the hardest conference.
Hold on, coach. I gotta address this. Doc, you're wrong, dude. Joe Namath won a Super Bowl. So what's your comment again about Bama quarterbacks can't win Super Bowls, but Joe Namath has one? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Man, Doc, a Michigan fan? Ain't no way he a Michigan fan, bro. All the way down here in the South. What you doing on the Bama? Never stop. We got roaches. They say we got wretches in the chat. Anyway, man, LSU could beat Michigan right now. But yeah, this Bama team came in. We had LSU at home, which was a godsend. No, we had to go to Death Valley, didn't it? No, we had them at home.
No, we had them at home.
It was a godsend to have them at home. That offense, the way they were surging. But honestly, man,
3 Bama quarterbacks. No, I'm sorry. I keep reading the comments. We had 3 Bama quarterbacks actually that won Super Bowl. Ken Stabler and Bart Starr. I forgot about those two. But okay.
And Jalen Hurts wasn't on him why the Eagles lost. Again, like once it wasn't on him when we lost to Clemson that year. So, but yeah, Florida. I mean, LSU, we came in, handled business against LSU. Shut down, not necessarily shut down Jaden Daniels. You remember the Dallas Turner, they claimed it was a dirty hit. Football play. Even Jaden Daniels came on the interview saying it was a football play, man. You some things you can't help. It's a hard play, a vicious play. It's a vicious sport. Things happen. Went in against Kentucky, handled business. Chattanooga handled business. And then the game the game of this new era, this new Saban era, this I want to say the second half of this era where Saban has evolved again and conformed to this new age of NIL, this new age of competitive recruiting, this new age of transfer portal. What, 3-4 years into it now, Saban finds a way to win the biggest rivalry to Alabama nation, Alabama fans, Alabama players, former, present, future, aspiring fans, whatever. This is the game that matters. If we don't win no other games throughout the season, I know this is one where we have to win. And man, we all know how it goes down in Jordan-Hare. We called this game. We said it could either go really good because of what we've been displaying or because Jordan-Hare is Jordan-Hare. Voodoo land, man. It ain't no other voodoo like that Jordan-Hare voodoo. I'm telling you, it's something about it. Georgia tell you. I mean, we did beat them with the same score. So, James. Yeah, we I mean, we had to go in there. Historical Iron Bowl, the 4th and Milrow, or the Millie Milrow, whatever, 4th and the Millie, whatever they want to call it, man. The Grave Digger. It was just a play I won't ever forget, man. I won't ever forget kick six. I won't ever forget the Ardarius Stewart touchdown from was that Jalen Hurts that year? No, that was Jake Coker. The Ardarius Stewart touchdown from Jake Coker in the Iron Bowl. That one is one of my favorites. I won't forget the double pick six with Mac Jones. Like, those are moments I remember. But this one right here, the Grave Digger, that one definitely topped the list because it was done by Alabama wide receiver. Julio didn't get an opportunity like that to catch a game winner like that. You know, Smitty didn't get an opportunity like that. He had one against Mississippi State and against Georgia, but one like that, man, where the quarterback, the arm has been his. We literally had a fan come in. Y'all know him, AJ Maverick. We literally had a fan come in and say, Milrow is not a good quarterback, but he won the biggest game of the season up to that point with his arm. Literally, the last play that mattered for the game, he did it with his arm. How can you say, you know, and mind you, we're not highlighting different people and their progression during these games. We're just seeing Alabama win. And this team just kept getting better. They kept finding ways to win. Never once did it look like we were going to be a dominant team, but then you come here, baby. Oh, my God. Jay, I don't know. I can't remember the last time. Even the Iron Bowl game, I don't think I was as hype as I was to see our team play like we played in the SEC championship, bro.
For fans who stopped by, man, I mean, you saw our reaction. I mean,
it was uncontainable, man. Mm-hmm. It was uncontainable. And the fan in me just could not be contained because I think we've been playing podcaster and coach way too long. You know, we know the game, but it's sometimes you just gotta be a fan, you know, and enjoy the moment, man. I wish we had 20-30 minutes between the finish of that game and all this to come on and be, you know, professional. But that game meant a lot, man. We completed a revenge tour like no other. We came back and beat Tennessee, came back and beat LSU, came back and beat Auburn, you know, in another close one in Jordan-Hare. Because last time we was down there, we had to take it to 4 overtimes to get the dub. I mean, we came in and fought adversity and won that one. But then to come in against this Georgia team, 29-game win streak, you know, 2-time defending national champ, number 1 team in the nation. You know, they were the 2-time? No, they were 1-time, you know, SEC defending champ. So, I mean, this game just meant a lot, man. It was kind of like the reestablishing of the guard, you know, the reestablishing of being the alpha. And it's no disrespect to Georgia. We respect everything that what they did in that 29 game span. It's gonna be hard to match, Coach Jay. I mean, what's your take just finalizing this regular season being conference champs, man? Like what that game meant for real, for real.
It meant a lot to us, man, because we beat Georgia while playing a C+ game. Honestly, I didn't think we played our best game that time. You know, everything accumulated together. I think the offensive line manhandled Georgia. I mean, literally, we're pancaking them, and then of course they made the adjustments. But Jalen Milrow did not have one of his best games. Now, Jalen Milrow made key plays that won us the football game. It was more like a Jalen Hurts type of situation where, you know, Jalen Hurts wouldn't have a good game, but in the biggest moments and crucial situations, he made the plays necessary in order to win his games. And that's pretty much been his entire career up until now with the Eagles.
Yep.
That's what Jalen Murrow was. I mean, use his legs in crucial situations on that final drive. You looked at, again, wasn't having a good game as far as going through his progressions, missing open reads, missing a lot of the receivers underneath, missing Burton. I mean, Burton had 29 receiving yards. He should have well over 100 yards in that game. But at the end of the day, when Jalen Murrow needed to make a play, when he needed us to take the lead, he gave it to us. And guess what? Every single time Georgia responded by getting a field goal or by getting a touchdown, Jalen Murrow responded by making plays with his legs, making plays with his arms, and he became that leader and became that guy for us. So that's crazy to me that we beat Georgia without playing our best game. That's what I thought it. I kept talking about it all year, even before the preseason and even during our shows. I said Alabama has to play their A++ game in order to beat Georgia, because I just thought that's just how good they were. And the fact that we didn't play our best game and we pretty much controlled the game. We lost the lead once.
Right.
And that was in the first quarter. And for 3 quarters, we controlled the pace of the game. That's why I know I'm like, okay, yeah, we're back. We're back. If we can control these games without even playing our best efforts, no, we're back. Because I can't imagine with a month of preparation, with the form that we're in now, and the players that are, because you know how players are banged up. Everyone was talking about how Georgia's players were banged up and how we're missing. What about our players that were banged up and that we're missing? Imagine when we're going to get back with a month of preparation. Oh no! Oh, it's a wrap. It's over. So this was the turning point. I know we keep talking about Tennessee was definitely, you can argue with the turning point, but this was the game. This was similar to 2021 when you just knew everything is really starting to come together now, and we still haven't even brought our best efforts yet. That's insane to me. So again, just proud of the team, just resiliency overall. It's just crazy.
Man, and that's what I want to highlight, man. People think like y'all barely beat Georgia. Nobody else has done it in the past 29 attempts. And for us to come in and do it with the level of play that we displayed, man, like you said, man, it was so many underthrown balls, uncharacteristically underthrown balls by Jalen Murrow. I mean, it was like he was so respective of the opponents, instead of looking at what was happening in front of him. And when he finally settled in, and like you said, like the argument we made early in the season, man, the play calling would not be a problem for a more experienced passing quarterback, because the wide receivers were definitely creating separation. They were making the right reads on their read routes. O-line, when they started progressing, you still saw how Milroe still took some games. It just took him an extra second to settle in. And that's why when I said it earlier, I said, don't be surprised if somebody on the next level, an agent gets in his ear and says, hey, we don't mind that part. This dude can progress this much. I just can imagine what he'll do in a professional program where this is all he has to do. He ain't got to go to class. He ain't got to do none of this extra stuff. This is what he wakes up, eat, breathe, and do. Like, this is what he eat, breathe, and sleep. This is what he does as a professional. And if he's able to do it at that level, I guarantee you somebody's looking. If this kid decides, and not saying that he will, but if he does, don't be surprised, y'all. I've been posting about it on Twitter all day. Do not be surprised if Jalen Murrow leads Alabama to a national championship and does it decisively, leading as a quarterback, not having to lean on the run game and the defense, but if he does it with his legs and does it with his arm, 0 turnovers, high QBR, those type of things where he just missed the vote to get in to go to New York to be the Heisman, I don't think he cares about being the Heisman, honestly. I think somebody can get in his ears and have him take a chance. And it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think he'll sneak in the first round late. I think somebody will gamble on Jalen Murrow right now. A smart GM, a GM that's in a tight situation. The hype surrounding Jalen Murrow, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams. Bo Nix, not Caleb Williams, but Bo Nix. I mean, those are your Bo Nix, Penix, and Daniels are your front runners right now as quarterbacks coming off the board. Caleb Williams is messing up his doggone stock. Drake May kid underperformed this year. I mean, there's other guys whose names was being thrown out. Milroe was not in the mix, and now he's being thrown in as one of the top 5 QBs in the country right now. And that's after being set for a game. So, I mean, all the hype is there, but I personally think he should come back. But if he goes, I would not be surprised. And it'll be because of a game like against Georgia. 0 turnovers, but still had 2 passing touchdowns. I think he had just right at 189 passing yards or something like that. I don't even think he broke 200 total yards passing.
He didn't.
So I mean, an efficient game, percentage wise wasn't efficient, but you protected the ball 8 yards away from being a 200-yard passer. You had to take the underneath the intermediate. Your average pass yards was 8.3. I mean, you had how many different receivers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different receivers on 13 completions. I mean, so that means you're not staring down the same receiver. Isaiah Barnes was your bailout guy 3 times. You hit him in phase 2 times. Everybody else you hit, you hit in phase. I mean, the kid has such a high ceiling. You could just imagine what a QB guru would do if they got a hold to him, man. You could just imagine the hype a person would get, continue to finish and make Jalen Milroe a complete product. So I'm excited, man. I'm happy about how this year ended. We really let all the naysayers know. And to cap it off, man, let's jump into it, man. This is what everybody been waiting on for. This is what everybody been waiting for. Let's react to the final college football rankings. Of course, we're happy we're in, but let's just start addressing all the extra, not necessarily addressing, but let's give our perspective. Let's give our insight of how we feel on FSU being left out. The whole process of it. How they drop Georgia, how you drop Georgia to 6, or they got Georgia at 6 and Oregon at 5, or was it? What is
Oregon's
it? No,
Oregon's at 8th. Oregon's 8th, Ohio State 7th, and then 6 is
Georgia.
Georgia. Mm-hmm.
And then Florida State. My thing is, if you think that a one-loss SEC champ is better than Florida State, what happens if Georgia had beat Alabama? Does Florida State get in still? Based off the logic of the committee, Texas winning was going to move them up 4 spots. So that would have put them from 4 to 3. You can't put them ahead of an undefeated Washington, an undefeated Michigan, or undefeated Georgia, who are all conference champs. So that would have put Texas at 4, and Florida State would have been out, based off the committee's logic and how that the rankings shifted. So just give your feel on how it panned out, and tell me how you feel on it overall, with Florida State not being in and Alabama getting in over them, and Texas. Not only Alabama, but Texas got in over them too. I don't hear anybody complain about Texas getting in.
Exactly. And think about this for a second. If Alabama scheduled ICDC college, this wouldn't even be a debate, because we would be 12, because we would be undefeated. I love how people say, well, why should we punish FSU? And listen, from a moral standpoint, I get it. I trust me. Me and Coach, we both played college football. We both played competitive sports. Anybody in the chat that's ever played a competitive sport, we all know it's hard to go undefeated. All the work that you do, the 5 a.m. workouts, the film work that you have to do, you have to. It's tough and grueling, right? But this life sucks sometimes, man. And when you look at the college football playoff committee, this is the criteria clearly states that if a player of significance does go down, the playoff has the right to judge and project whether or not if that team is capable of being a top 4 team. Jay, it is written.
I got to kill this narrative right here. He says no one player makes the team, right? You're right. But when your backup comes in and struggles against a 2-loss Louisville team that just lost to Kentucky the week prior, a team that Alabama completely obliterated, you literally just struggled to beat that team. And it wasn't because of your offense that won that game. It was because of your defense. And you're telling me that team had an opportunity to go and play against a Washington team whose offense and their defense is ranked higher than Florida State's statistically. You telling me that the same Florida State team has a chance to go be a competitive playoff team and play against a number 2 team and a number 1 team in Michigan? You trying to tell me that Florida State might have a chance against Michigan just because Michigan is overhyped, but I think Michigan's defense goes and obliterates the Florida State quarterback.
We just seen it in the Big Ten championship.
Exactly. That's literally what happened. That's what Michigan was able to do. They was able to go in and play against a backup quarterback, and they showed you what their defense could do, and their offense can get 21 points a game. So, they're not explosive by any nature, but they handle their business decisively when they have the opportunities. You go show me a Florida State game where they handle business decisively. Show me a Florida State game where even against unranked opponents where they were able to go in and just dominate. Your strength of schedule wasn't there. Your head-to-head wasn't there. I mean, literally, that Louisville losing to Kentucky hurt y'all. I will say that. If Louisville came in at 1, I think you have with 1 loss, I think you have more of an argument. Because then you got two top ACC teams, one loss, and then you got an undefeated one. Now you see more of a competition gap being closed. But other than that, man, Florida State just they didn't pass the eye test. So Doc, for you, just don't even compare ACC SEC record because none of that matters. I'm talking about what Florida State was able to do on the field this season. Kentucky got smashed, and that was one of the criteria, wasn't it? Favorable matchups, being in transitive property. You remember how much I said transitive property shouldn't even be in it?
Point.
Transitive property had to be applied when they said, okay, Louisville just gave Florida State a run for their money with their third string quarterback. Louisville just lost to this Kentucky team that Alabama just freaking mauled, at their home. We went to Kentucky and handled them. So, I mean, if we were just going by the criteria, yes. Now, the 4 best teams, Alabama's definitely one of the 4 best teams. Georgia still, to me, is one of the 4 best teams. Florida State
they just didn't hit the criteria points. That's their problem. They didn't hit it all.
They didn't. But you know what? The committee messed up when they continued to keep Alabama and Texas in the spots where they were. When we continued to win. When they continued to put Oregon in front of us and they were projecting that Oregon would possibly beat Washington because Washington didn't look impressive in their wins post Oregon, that's when they messed up. And I told y'all, I said, what's going to happen is after Oregon loses to Washington, the committee has to find a scapegoat. Florida State was that scapegoat. Florida State, and I hate to say it, but Jordan Travis getting injured was just the beginning of it. If Florida State would have won that conference with Jordan Travis the way they won against Louisville, they still would have been out. Florida State was going to be a scapegoat. You are not keeping a 1-loss SEC champ out of the playoffs.
I would even say this: if they just beat Louisville by 3 touchdowns, or if they beat Louisville by 3 touchdowns, or they beat Florida by more than 3 touchdowns, or by 2 or 3 touchdowns, I still think they're in. Why? Because from the criteria point, you have to show with a backup or your third string, doesn't matter who's in, you have to show that it's not a drop off from the second or the third string to the starting quarterback. And it clearly showed. It clearly
this kid said they moved the goalposts. They've been moving the goalposts all 10 years since the committee has been around. They move the goalposts every year.
Doc, this was literally the first week where they hit all 3 criteria points. And
the only week of all the rankings. I'm
going to tell you why. Because in 2014, Ohio State didn't have a higher strength of schedule. They didn't have a higher strength of record than TCU and Baylor. But yet they put Ohio State in because of the eye test. They won 59-0. They didn't follow the criteria points. In 2016, Penn State beat Ohio State twice. They beat Ohio State 1 time, won their division, won their conference, had a higher strength of schedule. The only thing they didn't have was a higher strength of record because they had 2 losses. But guess what? They put Ohio State over Penn State. Where was the outrage? In 2017, 2017, we jumped over Ohio State. But guess what? Don't give me this 2-loss crap because Auburn was going to get in if they would have beat Georgia. Why? Because they had the number 1 strength of schedule, number 1 strength of record. They won the head-to-head matchups. The only thing, but because they lost the SEC championship, didn't win their conference and had 3 losses, we got in over them because Ohio State, when it comes to head-to-head differential and when it comes to strength of record, we were higher. We filled in more criteria points than Ohio State in 2017, so they put us in, right? So don't give me this crap about some of these teams should have gotten in and shouldn't have gotten out. It is what it is. If you had such a problem with it, then guess what would happen? The ACC, Pac-12, and Big Ten would have said, you know what? We are having a 12-team playoff this year. But guess who said no? Those 3 conferences. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debate. But
exactly. And to think. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. No, I'm saying if you had such an issue, you would have changed it after 2014, but you didn't. Because guess what? And we're super glad this didn't happen. If all 5 Power 5 conference teams had gone undefeated, guess who's left out? Florida State. So don't give me this crap. It's never been fair. It's always been about politics.
Right here. This is my point. Go ahead. This is my point right here. You can't tell me.
ACC committee members.
ACC committee and members. The head of the committee is from the ACC. Actively engaged with the ACC. There could not be. I'm sorry to tell you this, and I got to come full screen for this one. money rules everything around America, even college football. I'm sorry. Florida State, ain't nobody traveling to see Florida State third string, second string quarterback get smacked. All y'all gonna watch it from home. All y'all Florida State fans that's in here crying or anti-Bama fans gonna watch it from home. Y'all gonna cry about it. Y'all gonna complain about, SEC biased and they only put us up against the SEC team or this team because no, you guys are asking for something that you're not ready for. At the end of the day, you guys are asking for something that you're not ready for. And the last time, okay, my wife is about to leave. I'm sorry, but last time we had to see Florida State, 2017. Y'all saw what happened. You saw what happened last time. Alabama and Florida State put supposedly up until that point the best recruiting classes in a 2-year span was on that field in 2017 when y'all had Francois in the game, and we showed up and we did it to y'all. I don't see Florida State, man. I can't wait till Georgia smack y'all. I can't wait. That's just me personally. I respectfully hate Georgia.
I'll just say this because Doc, you're not understanding this. The playoff system was stupid to begin with. It should have been 6 teams instead of 8 teams. It should have been expanded after 4, but y'all kept denying it. The ACC
kept turning it down. They kept turning it down.
You wouldn't have been in this position in the first place if
that's
you just
what happens.
Yes.
That's what happens when you have Dabo Swinney as your spokesperson. That's what happens when everybody in that conference, every coach in that conference, when Dabo opened his big mouth and was saying it should be the 4 best teams, not the 4. Go and look it up. He said the 4 best teams. He didn't say the 4 most deserving. He said the 4 best teams. He said, and so you put the pressure on the committee with your, national championship win and you being the guy up front for a little while. You were getting too big for your britches and you started barking too much. And now it's come back to bite your conference when you are irrelevant. And now somebody else, and Mike Norvell, who had to come down to a program and turn a program that had been, left for dead by Jimbo Fisher. They brought in Willie Taggart. Task was too high for him. He was never going to seek success at Florida State, not in the state that Jimbo left it in. And then you bring in Norvell, and he finally gets the calming of the storm. And because Swinney has been the spokesperson for the ACC for the past 8 years or whatever, now it's coming back to bite you. And what's up? So my boy said next subject. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it too, man. I just wanted to get my bro because we ain't talked about it. We just reacted. Yeah. I told y'all. I told y'all what it was gonna be.
People want to listen. People. The whole reason why I'm always heated on it is because people keep saying, well, it's Bama bias. Not even SEC bias. It's Bama bias. But it's kind of crazy because if Georgia would have won, then Texas would have been in front of it, and you wouldn't have to say it. But because we're Alabama, we're the evil empire. We're the Sith. If any Star Wars fans out there, we're the Sith, right? We're Mace Windu. We're not Mace Windu. We're Darth Vader and Darth Sidious.
This is the main point, bro. This is the main point. The 14 playoff with 5 power conferences flawed from the start, and it's just asking for chaos. Think about how many times you had a non-power 5 undefeated UCF to be example. You know what I'm saying? If you had your 5 conference winners and that one power 5 with the best strength of schedule / record / most impressive win, if you did that for the past, I want to say 7 years, there couldn't be no other arguments because guess what? Everybody's getting their fair opportunity. You take your top 2 strength of schedule ranked conference championships and you let them hold the bye week and you get your 2 wild card games for that first game and then you play your national championship. I mean, literally the same format. You could bring out the same format. You got an extra game. It's more money. You take away a game from the season that gets rid of the cupcake schedule issue. Like there's ways around it that to us as fans, it seems like a simple way. But at the end of the day, I keep telling y'all, money rules everything in America. And y'all going to listen to me. Even with the 12 team, people going to get left out next year, and it's going to be the same story. If Alabama messes around and schedule, and we go through, because next year there's no more divisions, right? There's no more divisions. So coming into the SEC championship is the top 2 records in the SEC playing for the SEC championship. We get in, let's say we lose 2 games, Georgia lose 2 games, but we the top 2 records. You trying to tell me a one loss FSU is going to be better than, like you're going to have your argument next year, and then when we get in the playoffs and smack that tail again, what's the problem? What's the problem? And from we gonna move on, man. We just you gotta take it in, man. You gotta take it in. But to move on, bro, we're in the playoffs. We got Michigan. It's the time of year where I think I think most people don't want to see Saban. I think people, when they know Saban is coming to the playoffs,
You saw Michigan's reaction.
yeah,
You saw their reaction.
bro. I think that's anybody though. I think that's anybody.
Oh, that's fear.
Because you giving Saban and an experienced coaching staff this year with players who believe who are not getting in off of a handout. These players earn their way in.
Mm-hmm.
They've been earning their way in for 11 weeks now, 12 weeks. 12 weeks now, they've been having to go out and prove every week. They haven't been able to take a week off, man. And you think they about to slow down now after they seen what 12 weeks of straight determination and dog them? But not only that, you giving Saban time to sit down and talk with Steele, Reese, staff. What do y'all feel good about going up? You know, because you know Saban, he started practicing for the Texas game probably after the Texas A&M game. He started prepping to see Texas again after the A&M game. I guarantee you, just like the year when they came back and beat Florida for the SEC championship and went on to win that Natty in 09, if you talk to the players from that 08, 09, 2010 era, they'll tell you after that bowl game when they lost to Oklahoma, they came in practicing for Florida. They fixed all their mistakes they made against Florida in that SEC championship. And man, it's a thing to see. So initial outlook on this Bama versus Michigan. Y'all know we got Michigan. We're going to play in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. I'm excited, man. That's a venue. I think Saban is 2-0 in that venue or 3-0 in that venue. I think
he's if we're talking about LSU or just
his career.
Yeah, I think he's undefeated. He's never lost there. I know that.
Yeah.
I know the one Rose Bowl in 2020 that wasn't in Pasadena because that was actually indoors because of the COVID year.
But yeah,
I mean, in that game.
He's undefeated in the Rose Bowl, man, and I think it's one of those things, man. When you give Saban more than 2 weeks to prep for you, it's not good for anybody. I mean, he made Pete Golden look great after bye weeks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really made Pete Golden look. I mean, other than LSU and Jaden Daniels doing what they did last year, that was after a bye week. But he made Pete Golden look good after bye weeks, man. And he got Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele gets film on you. Deontay Lawson and that inside linebacker group who played tremendous in that Georgia game. You know, to go against Michigan, similar mindset, similar attitude, how they want to approach the game. They're not going to try to go around you. They're not going to try to finesse you. They're going to try to establish who they are. What's your take on it, man? Going in while I catch up on these comments. We're going to hit super chats here in a minute too.
Yeah, I'll say you gotta get Joseph Washington's chat sooner, but that's actually funny. But no, it's I'll just say this, man. You can't give Nick Saban a month of preparation, especially for a team that doesn't do anything special. We played Georgia at the right time. I mean, this was the right time to play Georgia because Michigan does not do too much. They do not do two other things different from what they can. It's going to be a nightmare for a bunch of teams. I mean, like I said, you saw their reaction, but like you just said before, that's everyone's reaction when they play Alabama. It's the fear factor. It's the fact that now all of a sudden you have a motivated Nick Saban team, which, by the way, Michigan's favorite. They're -1.5 favorite, and that might go down a little bit, but still, you have all the momentum. You have all the work that the press, that the media gave you all season, that the fans gave you all season. You have all of that working towards your advantage. This is the perfect situation for Nick Saban. And now that this team's getting ready to go, it's looking dangerous.
Facts, man.
Looking dangerous. Like you just said before, man, that Texas game, now that you see what they do, I can guarantee you Nick Saban's got a plan. I can guarantee you he's been prepping for that game for a while. So,
but the thing is, Sarkisian isn't the type, and he's never been the type to like hold back plays. He's a real time schemer. He's going in. So against Washington, he knows that offense can get sneaky. He's not going to try to put on his defense. He wants his offense to lead his teams, and I feel like Saban, not that he's prepared, not that he's overlooking Michigan, but he wants to come into this Michigan game so prepared that we don't have to get past the first script. We don't have to get past first script to be out. And man, we might see a Ty Simpson. We might have a Ty Simpson sighting in this game, middle of the third quarter. I feel like this is gonna be one of those games, man, where we just, because we know what we want. We know what we want to set ourselves up. Everybody, and I saw somebody else in the chat say, remember that Alabama is we still got one more on the revenge tour. The fact that Texas is back in it, I guarantee you that's even more of a motivation. I guarantee you And I know the players are probably putting the pressure on each other to not allow it to leak out in the social media and leak out in these media conferences and all that stuff. They're holding each other accountable, but they are ready. They are ready to go ahead and handle business against Michigan, because that Texas game, to lose that game at home like they did, man, I'm telling you, that is a fire. That is the fire that they're ready to put out. They ready to put that fire out, and they going to, man. They're going to. But Michigan up first, I really like the matchup, because I don't think Michigan has had the opportunity to see any level of talent on any level that we have presented on this Alabama team. I don't think they've been able to see two solid corners on the perimeter. I don't think they've been able to see the type of speed at linebacker and defensive end that they're going to see. I don't think they've seen the amount of intensity on the interior defensive line that you're going to get from Jaheim Otis. Damon Payne showed up this past weekend against Georgia, being reckless. Tim Keenan, Tim Smith was sliding in from tackle to end. A boy be playing in like that front. I believe is going to have their way and going to be able to show out. It's going to be like you remember a couple years ago when we played Washington in the first round? You remember that? I feel like it's going to be that type of feel, but with more offense, because I think Miro wants to make up for those 4 or 5 touchdown passes he should have had against Georgia.
And that was even our A game. We won that game with like 66 yards passing in that game. We won 24-7 because their offense, that personnel could not handle us at all. And I'm telling you, Zach Winter going down from Michigan is going to be a bigger loss going against us. I'm telling you that right now. Losing your best lineman is going to be a bigger loss going against us. I can tell you that.
Jay Bill said he heard College Stallion was snooping around in Tuscaloosa. Hey, good thing we won't be in Tuscaloosa for another week. So whatever he trying to sneak out at Tuscaloosa, he ain't gonna get in there.
We're on the recruiting trail. We ain't focused on Michigan right now.
Yeah, we ain't. And the thing is, the players are, man. You heard about the team meeting the players had? Their own film session they having. The players that have.
They're ready, man.
My mic hat came. But the players having their own film session. These players, Coach Saban told these guys to relax. You got players linking up at their apartments, doing their own film study, talking about scheme, things that they want to bring forth to the coaches. I mean, this is a team, man, that's locked in. Like I haven't felt championship energy like this in so long, man. Even when in 2020 when we won it, because of COVID, it felt like we were kind of detached from it. We had to watch from afar. We didn't get the same media coverage. We didn't get the same insights. We didn't get the same sound bites because of COVID. So this one, it feels different, man. And to do it coming back from losing to Tennessee, LSU last year, being disrespected by Auburn fans, Georgia fans, picking the past 2 years, man, this is more than gratifying. And to not have to deal with Georgia again, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to see Georgia again, bro. I would hate to see Carson Beck, and this offensive line come together and get another chance to scheme up something to see us, because I feel like it would be a real shootout. And Jalen Miro, it would be another test on him. Do I feel like he could pass it? Yes, but we would definitely need his arm a lot better if we saw Georgia again. Now, Texas doesn't present the same schematic defense as Georgia. They got us because of inexperience up front. We didn't have Jaden Robertson in that Texas game. Actually, you want me to tell you who started at right guard? It
was Darren Dalcourt, right?
You had Dalcourt, then you had Ferguson come in for him and get injured. So I wouldn't be, man, I'm telling you, this run game is going to be different. Texas, they struggled against our run game the first time we saw them, and we had Dalcourt, Ferguson rotating over there. Proctor was struggling. I think Proctor had got set down for a few drives too that Texas game.
He got killed by Ethan Burks. He got destroyed off that edge.
Oh my God, man. So this is a time to be a Bama fan and enjoy this, man. Like Michigan, you on the clock, man. I'm sorry. And y'all, I know this video's been circulating and all that, but that video ain't gonna do justice of what they really feel, man. Them boys know this team. Nobody wanted to see Bama if they made it past Georgia. Nobody. And I was saying that October 18th, y'all see my tweet. Y'all see the tweet. I said college football's biggest fear right now is that Alabama finds a way to figure this thing out. And after that, they're going to be the most dangerous team and they won't lose another game the rest of the season. And since I made that post, lo and behold, we have not lost a game. I mean, development, everything I said about development has happened on pace, just like you needed to do with a team like this. I mean, I'm so eager. These next 2.5, 3 weeks is not going to go by fast enough, bro. I'm telling you.
Nope.
They're not going to go by fast enough. And we're going to have to sit here and come up with content to talk to y'all. That's why we're not diving deep into the matchup, breaking down the particulars and all that. We got another 2.5 weeks of shows to bring to y'all before we start, getting ready for the game. So definitely trying to drag it out. We want y'all to continue to show up and just show that love, man. This is a team that really had to go through it this season. And as fans, we went through it too. How many of y'all, and I want y'all to put hand emojis in the chat. How many of y'all almost lost a Bama friend this season? Come on, put your hand up. I know I almost lost one. I know I almost lost a Bama friend maybe 2 or 3 games this season. Come on, man. Y'all tell the truth, shame the devil, like my grandma used to say. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I almost lost a few Bama friends because I felt like we forgot what trust the process mean. I feel like we forgot what earn it mean. I feel like we forgot what joyless murder ball considered of. It wasn't when we were putting up 60 points, 50 points with Tua. That wasn't joyless murder ball. Joyless murder ball was when we was winning 21-7, 38 to 6,
27-12,
27-12.
Some of the ugliest scores.
What was that one? 19-3 we won during that Saban national championship era. I forget what team we played, but it was like 19-3. Nobody complained about the game.
Yeah, the Penn State game. That was my first Bama game. That was 27-11. I was there in Beaver Stadium.
Bro, nobody complained. Nobody used to complain about score spread or nothing. It was just about going out there and keeping the other team's offense from scoring and let's punch them in the mouth. Yeah, the game has evolved. It's a little bit more cute. But Joyless Motorball, new era is here. I'm telling y'all, this defense, the way they started teeing off on Carson Beck in the last 3 drives, man, that was a sight to see, man. I mean, really emotional tears was coming out of my eyes when Kevin Steele started dialing up the blitz when we went up by 10. And yeah, they came in, they closed it to 3, but they had to work for it, man. We were playing the number 1 team in the country. And Carson Beck, to me, if he was to come out, he moves ahead a lot of these quarterbacks that's getting projected in front of him. That's just my personal take. And that's only with 1 year starting. The kid came in ready. Everybody's been talking about it. He was ready his freshman year. Spending those 2 years being patient, it showed. It showed. You saw the difference in progression speed and between him and Miro. And it's a sizable difference, man. You gave him credit on the third read when he made the deep crosser pass.
A hell of a read, man. That was a hell of a read and hell of a throw.
We were sitting there like at first everybody was like, who in coverage? And then next thing you know, Jay coming in. Hell of a read, man.
I must say, I can't complain, man. I can't complain. That's just the coverage beat. It was the coverage. It was perfect. How he was able to manipulate the defender's eyes, and then how he was able to go through the first, second, third in a quick time. I mean, you can't even tell, but he did it so quick. And then it was a hell of a throw, man. A hell of a read. I can't complain.
Hey, Doc. My boy said 13-0 is better than Bama's record. How are you gonna feel when it be 13-1 and we'll be 14-1 at that point? We'll have to be 14-1 it'll be 14-1. How you gonna feel? Just like I asked the other Florida State fan on the on Twitter. I said, how you gonna feel when y'all beat Louisville and we still get in the playoffs? And he ain't responded to me since that night, bro. He ain't responded to me since we won the SEC championship. And everybody been calling for him. He has not responded. But yeah, hey, shouts out to all the players, man. Shouts out to Bama Nation. We're gonna close this out like this, man. And this is something I'm just throwing on us right now, so don't expect us to hip fire. But if we had to go right now, Coach Jay, and I know we got weeks to kind of go and revisit this, your first nominee for Offensive Player of the Year right now.
Ooh, for Offensive Player of the Year?
Just a nomination. One nomination. And why?
I'll give it a Miro. Yeah, I'll give it a Miro because of and literally, I'm going to say this, but I can say this about 7 players on this offense. It's because of how they started and how they finish now. Like, to see that growth and see that improvement in that pretty much a short time span, to go from bottom of the barrel to all of a sudden now just keep climbing the ladder every week was nasty. And that's 7 players I can name that did that. Caden Proctor looked like
don't get into that now. Don't start sneaking it.
I mean,
man. Nah, I'm with you though. But to keep it from being, in line, monkey see, monkey do. I'm gonna say Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton is my Offensive Player of the Year because 1, he came in with such high expectations last season. So much hype behind Jermaine Burton. didn't perform, but he did not let that slow him down. If you look at the way Jermaine Burton played last year, he played so like he was just lost all the time, man. And even when he made plays, it was like accidental plays. This year, he just was so sure about his assignments, from the blocking to pass, pass routes to, being calm and being patient, not getting over animated when he was overlooked. I mean, he came and worked hard. You talk every receiver in that room. It might be cliche to some teams, but you can see when people talk about their teammates if they really mean it or not. So when Isaiah Bonds gets up and says, speak highly, Kobe Prentice, who's a real stand-up guy, who's been a stand-up guy, noted as a stand-up guy since he came on campus. When those guys are saying that they look up to Jermaine Burton, you can see it on the field. Look at the type of plays Kobe Prentice make and how he get up with that emotion and who the first one in his face to make him get hype. Jermaine Burton. Isaiah Bonds make a play. Who the first one in his face? Malik Benson and Jermaine Burton. So my offensive MVP this season would definitely go. I would have to lean towards Jermaine nomination. My first nomination would be Jermaine Burton. Defensive MVP nomination.
Oh, Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs, for what he's done. I mean, you can make an argument he's one of the top 5 best defensive players in the country for what he's done for this defense. I mean, pretty much reigniting a spark. And it's crazy. I mean, the safety position, we've always had great safeties. You look at McKinney, you look at Micah Fitzpatrick, you look at a Robert Lester, you look at a Mark Barron. I mean, we can just keep going back. Roman Harper was really good. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good dudes there. See, I got to throw that back to you, didn't I? But no, seriously, it's just, man, I mean, what Caleb Downs was able to do from the slot, from, covering assignments. I mean, Brock Bowers with the bracket was awesome. To see him in run support, to make plays on the ball, that's something that we've been missing for a while. And we've had great safeties, but, to see a more kind of complete safety, to have that again is, and for a true freshman to do that, to be a leading tackler, man, you got to give it to Caleb Downs.
Y'all, breaking news right now. I know I'm supposed to be named my defensive MVP, but breaking news. Congrats to Tyler Buckner, to Notre Dame lacrosse. It was just notified. I was just notified. So congrats to my boy. Hey, go be all you can be for that Irish, fighting Irish lacrosse team, man. Shouts out to my boy Tyler Buckner, man. You was the best case of experimentation to help me prove this fan base wrong. Like Tyler Buckner, everything I wanted you to do, you did exactly what I needed you to do to get everybody off of that wagon. Like I'm so appreciative of you, what you done. And you were a great teammate from what I heard. You were a great teammate. You didn't like to talk to nobody. You stayed to yourself. You never really came in and bought in, but you didn't create problems. So I appreciate you for doing what you do, man. Continue to be a stand-up guy. Notre Dame definitely is going to appreciate having you there. But my defensive MVP, man, for the regular season, my nomination is going to go to Terrion Arnold, man.
It's a good choice.
It's going to Terrion Arnold. And the only reason I want to say that is because this is his second full season playing cornerback, bro. Ever. Like, second full season ever playing cornerback. And to go in there and to have the buzz around you and to actually show up. Nobody was really trying Kool-Aid at the beginning of the season. It got to the point where you had to pick your poison. Because Arnold was, to me, Arnold, and the numbers and the grades will tell you, Arnold is the better corner. Right now, Arnold, up to this point, with all the stats in the season, the amount of pass breakups, the percentages, everything, his on-ball defense when he's targeted, and they both have over 20 plus, I think. Over 20, I think Arnold ended up with like 41 total attempts against him, and Kool-Aid was at 34 or 29. Somebody else was at 34. Doggone Malachi Moore was at 34. So, and to see, you got to think about all the pass attempts that Jaden Daniels had against our secondary. A&M was kind of balanced. Mississippi State, they didn't go in the air as much, but they did enough. And I mean, Arnold was that dude all season. And I think we got a glimpse of somebody else that's going to be back next year. And honestly, this just creates more controversy for the amount of talent we have in that secondary. Amos is back next year. If Arnold doesn't go, which I'm hearing that he's starting to get those first round looks, man. He's serious.
He's going in the first round.
Yeah,
he's going in the first round. That's
honestly, So what's being tossed around right now is that a lot of defensive looks are more interested in um Arnold coming off the board first to a team like Green Bay or a team like it was talking about, I think, Green Bay, Denver, and it was, I think, the Raiders is who was saying that, they looking for that type of fit. And if you look at those rosters right now, a young corner could come in and go through some growing pains right now on all three of those rosters. And Arnold will fit that, especially in Green Bay. I think he fits that mold of the type of corner that they usually go after. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that kid go. But that's my nomination for defensive MVP. Stafford. Let's go Stafford of the season, man. Who on the staff gets the staff MVP who's your nomination?
I gotta give it to Robinson. I gotta give it to Coach Rob.
T-Rob?
Gotta give it to T-Rob. Gotta give it to T-Rob, man. I mean, and let's be honest, I mean, he got a lot of criticism for how the secondary played. Again, I think that's more on the scheme of what happened last year than more so him. But I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, getting Caleb Downs to getting a Jalil Hurley, to getting a Des Ricks who could contribute next year, who knows? And then all of a sudden to Trey Amos and Key, getting those guys off the portal. I heard he played a pretty big part in that. And then you look at the production. I mean, this secondary went from, okay, this is questionable and being the weak link of the defense, to now being arguably the strength of the team.
The strength, yeah.
And it's just, I mean, you have 2 first-round corners, 2 all-SEC guys on the outside. You have one guy in Malachi Moore who showed massive improvement. I didn't think he was that good of a run defender even from his freshman year when he had 4 picks. I just thought, okay, he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker that can occasionally go out there and make plays. He can, run stop, but he's not that type of player. I mean, he ended up being one of our best run defenders. I didn't see that coming from his freshman year and even from his sophomore, junior, and even now senior film. I didn't see that at all. So to see what Malachi did, to see what Trey Amos, every single time he's been in the game, by the way, I don't think Trey Amos, I think, has allowed maybe 1 or 2 catches since he's been as our outside corner. And I think it's not been long receptions. So to see what we've seen from Trey Amos, to see Christian Story's development after the 3 games that he came and played, that's all T-Rob. That's all T-Rob. Coach Nick Saban, of course, he's in the DB. He's in the DBs. He's always in that ear. But you got to give
even
him
more pressure. Even more pressure. Yep. You got the big guy on your neck every minute of the practice.
And to perform like that, you got to give it to T-Rob.
Mine's is going to go to, and I don't know, for MVP, I'm going to say, I was going to say Eric Wolford, but I'm going to save him for most improved nomination. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save him and Freddie Roach for most improved. Because our trenches definitely improved massively from last year to this year.
Yeah.
But I want to go with probably the most consistent group on the offensive side, and that was the running back room, man. To deal with what they dealt with early in the season with the protection issues, the lack of push in the front, personnel groupings in front of them wasn't ever. They running back room was the reason we won A&M. You go back and watch that game. Jace McClellan making the clutch catch to get the first down at the end of that game to seal the game, get that first down. Middle Tennessee State game, they kept it balanced when Milrose's intermediate passing game wasn't there. Start to finish, they were the steadiness of this offense. When things were out of whack, even against Georgia, when the passing game wasn't there, we beat them up on the interior run game. Guys were hitting. Jam Miller and Roydell Williams were hitting holes. I mean, just the moment they were opening up, and I believe that's a credit to Coach G and this running back room. Coach G has been a long time staffer here at Bama for a while now. He's been here for a while. I think, Coach G being here, you see the professional coaching going into what these players do in that running back room on a daily. And I mean, just the development is there, man. You got guys, you got a roster, a running back room where a guy like Justice Hayes doesn't get any carries for real. We're begging for him to get on the field. And when he gets in, you see why. It takes a good position coach to get a young guy to buy in. Even Richard Young bought into sticking around and staying committed. Hopefully that doesn't change. The narrative doesn't change with, the portal being open and everything. I haven't heard any buzz about none of these young guys, these guys that's really been here, that's part of this resurgence of the Bama standard. I haven't heard any rumors or anything about those guys. So it's looking promising for Bama, man. And just want to give Coach G his due. But like I said, when we get in the most improved on the next show, I think I already have one or two names. You know, it's going to be either Robert Bala, Eric Wolford, or Freddie Roach. And can't even put Robert Bala there. You got to name him as a newcomer because this is his first year as a linebacker coach at Alabama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, inside linebacker coach at that. You know, he had the toughest task. That was probably the weakest point of our defense for the past 4 or 5 years up until this point. And you saw even the development there this year. The development there, you saw guys progressively get better. So I'm excited, Coach Jay. This next 3 weeks gonna be cringe. It's gonna be like stressful trying to wait for the next BS tape that they're gonna have about Alabama football being in and Michigan having a chance against us. I'm not playing that. I don't think these games ahead of us. If we don't see Texas, that'll be a disappointment. I will say that. If we don't see Texas, that'll be a disappointment. But I'm hoping that we get the Michigan handle business 42-14 type deal. And then when we see Texas, man, I'm ready to see a complete team. Not a week 2 green team, but a complete team schematically, a OC that has some games under his belt, who knows his team now, who knows what his quarterback is capable of. You got Kevin Steele knowing what all this talent around him is capable of doing. And it's going to be hard to beat a team, a Kevin Steele coach defense, Tommy Rees. We see what Tommy Rees did with a 1 week bye, man, to LSU with Jalen Milroe in that offense. We saw what Tommy Rees was able to do when he had that extra week to get in that film room and just be creative within the scheme, the grand scheme of what your players do. And he did a good job of that, man. We gotta give him his props. But yeah, man. That's it for tonight, man. Tonight was a crazy night. Yeah, I saw we got caught up on the college football playoff. That was a big thing for us this weekend. Just being excited about being in, being SEC champs once again. Y'all see, I got. I'm gonna try to come with a new background every week for y'all. New background, something new. So as y'all see stuff, man, tag me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And if your nomination gets up here, get in the chat so I can recognize you. Coach Jay, let's run down the super chats before we tell the people where they can find us, man. Let me get over here, get in the super chats, put them on the screen. We're gonna start at the top, roll them down, man.
All right, let's see what we got here. Gavin Kane, he says, my boys Lank, Texas rematch, that get back. Let's see. Gavin Kane, he also gained with the $1.99 super chat. He says, also, Georgia going to have FSU thanking the committee. All right, definitely kind of, is what it is when it comes to there. Let's see. Valerie Witherspoon with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you so much. Let's see. We got 1920s with a $2 super chat. He says, please speak on Coach Eric Wolford and that old line.
We're going to save it. Hey,
we're going to save it. We're going to save it.
Make sure I got all these super chats started. I took down notes. We're going to be hitting all of these breakdowns over the next. Y'all got to understand, y'all. We can't give y'all everything in one night. We'll be here till midnight. And I'll do it, but we ain't, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to do it. We got time. Mm-hmm. We could eat this this full course bit by bit, bite by bite. We ain't got to try to stuff it all in one sitting. This don't taste bad when you reheat it in the microwave. I promise you. But Ray Parham with $5, he said, you guys saw how Saban admitted to using a safety over the top of Bowers and splitting the safeties. Bro, it people who know football, Ray, they was right there with us when we broke that down and how it should look and what it should look like and how it should feel. The best personnel, you was there with us, man. And when you know football, it's definitely a good
Ray
thing.
Ray suggested it. Ray was the first.
He the one that brought it. He took it right out of me and Sean, because me and Sean had already talked about it. Like that's the only way you beat a team that has a guy like Bowers that is primarily your middle of the field threat. Not just the middle of the field. Let's just talk about it for a quick second. Did you see the adjustment? The first play that came out, and I don't know if you watched the live game simulation I did Friday night, but the computer even came out and hit Brock Bowers when he had a one-on-one matchup on the first play. They hit him with a quick slant. He had one-on-one, and this is the CPU I'm playing against now. Brock Bowers against doggone Caleb Downs. They hit him on a one-on-one. He got a first down on that first play. And then, the rest of the game, I was bracketing him. I put Caleb Downs and man over top of him, and I had Jahad Campbell or Lawson, whoever was playing on that weak side. I kept playing them underneath. Or if Amos was there, I would, put him in the hook zone to make him play underneath, shade underneath. They just flipped it opposite because I can't make the personnel changes like that on the game. But literally, to see that, man, and the way these boys dialed it in, Malachi Moore's drop pick, that's when I knew we had them in trouble. That's when I knew that the scheme was going to give them fits. They were banking on hitting a couple wheel routes and being able to let Bowers abuse one-on-one matchups. And we took away both of those things. How did that make you feel to see that, Coach Jay?
Oh man, it was awesome. I knew for the most part it was checkmate. Now listen, we talked about how Carson Beck. I'm telling you, Carson Beck, don't be surprised at all if he declares and he goes a late first round pick. Do not be surprised. There is something. I mean, because first of all, one thing that Carson Beck can do, even with the sort of coverage he can do, one thing he can do on the fly, he can create passing lanes.
Yes,
that's one of the things. That's literally the best things he can do. That
his release point changes with the type of style that he is not wacky, but the mechanics are so fluent for Carson Beck that his release point, he could change his release point. He could release early and get a touch pass or arrow, a rope, or he'll release late. Whew, there off like an extension. All three levels, he can make the same level pass on all three levels, same trajectory on all three levels. That's a talent, man. And I don't think being under Mike Bobo did him any justice, or having all that talent surrounding him did him any justice, because you really don't see how amazing of a quarterback this kid is. And that's not to discredit what Jalen Milroe has done, but I guarantee you, you flipped the script, and Beck, who verbally committed to Bama at one point, and then ended up committing to Georgia. If he's at Bama this year, we're averaging 50 a game, and our defense is knocking teams out, like holding them less than 9. We see in a 21 Georgia type year where it's just no competition. Like we are literally a flawless quarterback away from being just, even with Caden Proctor. I think Caden Proctor's growth gets stunted if you have Carson Beck, because he don't have to do much. Beck's timing, his ability to decipher the blitz is immaculate. He's on a level, bro. He's on a level. And to be the team, to do him like that, to hold him and make him struggle to put up 24 points like that, that's a testament, bro.
And we took away the first read. Like for the majority of the game, the first read was gone. He had to go to his second, third, even sometimes the fourth. Like
fluent.
Just fluent, man. The talent. But
Gavin came back in when he said our line on both sides dominated in the trenches. Couldn't agree more, man. Joseph Washington came in with a $5 super chat. CNS is basically, Coach Nick Saban is basically Batman with prep time. He can beat anybody. Facts, bro. That's the scary part. If this was a game next week, I'm looking at this Michigan game a different way. But you're giving Coach Saban, somebody who doesn't know how to take a break from work, bro, when the season is on. It's hard to get him to settle down in the offseason. Miss Terry got him over to Italy this past offseason, and he didn't. It was funny listening to her statement or reading her statement about it's funny. You want to see Nick Saban stressed? Let him not be working or doing something, that involves work or, helping those boys out. That's when you see him stressed. He doesn't know what to do with himself. This man is not only dedicated to coaching, but he's dedicated to the mission of developing players. And he takes it to the level. He leads by example. To be 72, Saban is 72 or 76
72.
now? 72. Yeah, 72. To be 72 with that type of energy, that type of demeanor, that type of consistency, that's a testament, bro. And I want whatever secret formula they inject into, I'm gonna need that in about 20 years. He said, if we don't play at Morgan, are we qualified to speak on this? If we didn't play at Morgan, are we?
I think he's talking about AJ. He's talking about
AJ. I don't think AJ likes our show. We don't let him speak his nonsense. Kyle said we don't got to be nice to AJ. So we. Joe Linsby with the $5 super chat, and the last one of the night, man. Definitely appreciate everybody. First year watching Bama talk shows, needed some guidance after that pitiful week 3 performance. You guys are on point week after week. Thank you, Joe Linsby. Appreciate it for real, man. Because we always talk about it behind the scenes. We just some regular guys, man. I think the experience part of it does come into play. It does factor into what we put out on the web, because once you put it out there, it ain't coming back. Once you put it out there, it ain't coming back. I know I've said some far outlandish things as a fan, but when it came to talking football and breaking down these games, I know there's value in what this team brings. This me, my bro, Sean, and Coach Jay. Sean's not here tonight, But what we bring to the table, man, is not like what most people are bringing. And we don't care about bias. We don't care about none of that. We want realness. We want facts. We want the stats. We want to be able to follow the numbers, but really look at the tape and try to bring the best ideal concept or explanation of that we could bring. So I love you all. Coach Jay, tell the people where they can find you, man.
Jant Sports on YouTube and also Twitter, Jant716 if you want to try to interact with me, man. And definitely follow me on Twitter a lot more. Because trust me, I'm gonna start being a little more interactive, especially debating with a lot of fans. I know again we did it today, but for the most part, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Yes. And y'all already know you can find your boy Coach Smook at Coach Smook on every platform. Man, if y'all looking to get some of these cups made, my mother-in-law, she makes them, man. Y'all hit me up, man. I know people was asking like where I got the cup from last show. Hit me up, man, on the side. We just hit me up. I'll get you hooked up, man. But other than that, man, Coach Smook on every platform. We'll be doing we won't be doing any live game simulations, for the upcoming weeks until we get closer to the playoff game. But definitely be looking for some pop-up content from myself, Coach Jay, Coach Sean. Whether it's on this channel or on our separate YouTubes, we'll have time to get and collab on our channels more. So if you haven't already, go check out our YouTubes. You can find me at Coach Smoke, and yours was Jant Sports right here on YouTube, y'all. Definitely go find us and check us out. Kind of help us build that platform. Kyle's been doing a great job in supporting us and pushing our names, man. And definitely want to give a shout out to him. Bama Football on YouTube, Mr. Bama Football himself, Kyle Henderson, man. I mean, y'all been seeing him. He's been changing up the venue, been giving y'all the stand-up look, just bringing in other creators, other analysts, around the table sports. Ty Hayes, that's my bro, man. Coach Jay been
shout out Ty Hayes.
Yeah, Ty Hayes, man. I can't wait to be on the screen with him again. As a matter of fact, I'll be on the screen with him tomorrow on the final whistle. But I mean, Bama content is getting big, man, and it's hard to find good, unbiased content. And I think that's what you're getting over here. I can't speak for anywhere else, and I'm on some other platforms, but over here, man, unbiased and straightforward, and it's logical and it's respectful, all in the same sense. Y'all take y'all shots at us, we take y'all shots at all, but at the end of the day, it's just football, and we enjoy being fans just like you are. So it's nothing against anybody. What in the world? Did you hear that music playing?
Mm-hmm. Where's your phone?
No, it's a commercial from somewhere. I don't know.
No.
Well, oh, here it is.
Ghost in there, man.
Right. We got commercials out here in these streets. But what we're not trying to do, man, we're not trying to leave here without thanking you all as the fans, as the supporters. We really appreciate you all. We see you all show up every week. Sometimes we go over 15, 20 minutes, and you guys are still here coming and doing what you do. We definitely appreciate you all. And with that being said, y'all, I'm Coach Smook. It's Coach Jay.
Coach Jay.
And we're out, man.
Tide.
Roll Tide.
Spinning Wheel of Doom.